Namaste, we are live. It is Saturday night and we're about to be joined by Akshay from Indian Matchmaking. If you've been watching Indian Matchmaking show, you know that Akshay made a huge splash. Everybody has an opinion about Akshay. Everybody thinks they know Akshay. So we're about to find out what Akshay is all about. And I have a feeling we're going to be surprised. I have a real feeling that we're all going to be very surprised by this guy. My interaction with him in booking the show was so fun, was very smooth and amicable. We've done 5 other interviews with Indian Matchmaking stars, and we've seen some stuff. Our opinions have changed. So I have a feeling we should reserve judgment on Akshay's state of mind, things he likes, things he doesn't like, his cousin, his mom, his kitchen, everything. Let's hold off until we hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So excited that all of you are choosing to join me this Saturday night. I'm so grateful for all your love, all your attention, always. And we are waiting for Akshay. In the meantime, what is everybody watching? What is Krishna Mehta? Yes, I would take you guys on a live right now, but we are actually waiting for Akshay to join us. What are you guys up to these days? What did you watch today? Akshay has joined. I think he's about to send us a request and we're about to have him live. What are your questions? Let's start getting them organized so we're fast and flowing. We don't want to waste a single minute of his time. He's about to come on. What are you most curious about? Are you curious about the engagement that was or wasn't to be? Hi. Hello. Welcome.
Hi.
Namaste.
Namaste, and thank you for having me on the show, Zarna.
Oh my God, such an honor, such a pleasure. Akshay, I
Oh,
know it's
it's my
very,
honor to be here.
no, it's early morning where you are. So thank you for making
Uh-huh.
time for at our time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much.
How is it going? The whole world knows you.
I mean, it's pretty overwhelming. Literally, so much attention. Everybody just suddenly wants to know what is Akshay doing? What is he currently doing? What was he like before? How is he right now? Is he really like this? There's so many questions I've been bombarded with. It has just been overwhelming, and so many requests and messages and DMs. I'm just like, wow, this is just unreal, totally.
I mean, what's the number one question? What are the things they're most curious about, people?
Oh, there are like 2, 3 questions I would say which are number one would be like, are you really like this? Why do you get in the show? And did it work out? Are you still married or, are you getting married? So a lot of them, it's been crazy that way.
Well, but the thing about this show is that we only got little glimpses. It's like few minutes here, but those glimpses were private. They were in your home, in your kitchen. Like people felt like they knew you.
Yeah, it totally felt like that. But like, as I said, the show and everyone else too, we shot for like hundreds of hours. What you see is just like 2 hours or 3 hours, and that also edited version of different parts. So it was like that's totally not me or anyone else on in the show because there's so many, like even the kitchen scene you're talking about or my house scene and all. We shot that for the entire day, and what you see is 10 minutes. So you can't really just say, how this person is that way. I mean, I know that. Obviously, the viewers don't know that, but that's how it happened.
Well, we've been lucky. We've interviewed some of your other collaborators or contributors, I think they're called, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And everybody's opinion has changed. By the time the interview ends, they're like, this is a totally different person.
It's totally different person. Exactly. That's what I've been getting too. I mean, all my other lives and interviews and newspaper articles, when people read and people see, like, oh, we completely thought that you're something else and now you're completely changed. Is this how you change so fast? Or is it like, were you always like this? So that I keep getting that a lot too.
So the question is, do you feel that the editing of the show was planned in a certain way? Like, do you have an opinion on how the show was edited?
Well, we really never knew that it's going to be edited in such a way. But yes, obviously, it was edited very heavily. And I don't know, they might have chosen to keep the good parts out and keep the bad parts in, or some kind of things that, create some kind of mystery or euphoria or among people, makes them question, because obviously, I guess when you saw the show too, you might be thinking that, oh my God, I have so many questions too, and then it just ends abruptly, you know. So
Yeah.
you're just like, wow, I need to know more. I need more of this. I need more, literally.
And they like choose to sensationalize like the few things, for example, like your mom's BP. It's,
Yes.
it's,
That has just gone viral. Everyone's been asking, oh, is your mother's BP fine? Is she like this? Is she really like that? A lot of that happened too. These were just pointers which were given, and then I think it worked well for the show because that's the thing people caught on to, and it just became a sensation, you know? Like asking everyone, how's your blood pressure has become a thing now.
well, I mean, as a mother, I have 3 children myself. I say stuff like that all the time.
Everyone says that. Yeah, all mothers do, or parents do, you know?
And
It's
so
pretty normal over here.
I understood right away, but I also understood the curiosity behind it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I get why people are fascinated because she's like, oh, if he doesn't get married, my BP. It's the kind of stuff. And I make it not even about marriage, about small exams and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, parents do really care a lot about their children, obviously. They want the best for them. And they're just like, oh my God. And if, something doesn't happen correctly, you'll be like, oh my God, my blood pressure is going up, or I'm not feeling well. Because of you, I'm getting anxiety. So things like that, just keep happening all the time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you've now had a few weeks to adjust because I'm guessing
Uh-huh.
that the first week was just a shock.
Oh, yes, it was. The initial few days, like the 3, 4 days, I mean, the show aired on 16th. That's when I saw the show too. We never saw the final version. I don't think any one of us saw. So I was like with you guys only just watching the entire thing. You know how it played out. Next day, you see, boom, my memes are all over the place. People are catching on these lines and saying, oh my God, did you really say that? And I say, Manisha, the hello, Manisha. A lot of that was going on. So, I mean, initial few days it was very weird too. I started reading the comments and I'm just like, why are people saying such things? And there was nothing really wrong in the show. And then when I saw the show too, I'm just like, oh, okay, so they edited this part and they put it in certain way that it projects that, it's kind of like this. In reality, I know. I mean, my friends who are there, they know that it's not like this. But it was really overwhelming to see all that. And then later on I got him like, okay, come on, like I mean, whatever you are going to do or anyone's going to do, people are going to be saying all kinds of things, good, bad, ugly, all of it comes, it's a part and parcel of the game.
Of course. I mean, look, you're on a dating show. Just the fact that you put yourself out there opens you up to all kinds of
Yeah.
criticisms. So somebody
Yes.
just asked, are you on Dil Mil in India?
Dil Mil, no, I'm sorry, I've never even heard of the app though. I'm really sorry, but I'm not Dil Mil.
It's an app. And somebody else asked, how's your mother's BP right now? Just so we can all
Oh,
relax
it's
about that.
completely fine and it's completely normal too.
How is she dealing with this whole press onslaught that's coming her way too? I mean, she's like become a major part of your plot line.
Exactly. I don't know how they edited it out in such a way and gave us such a big character to play in. So it came out like this because obviously the show was about to be me and the people, it's about the children, how they're going to be. So my mother's thing was also too much. She's not even on social media, but she keeps getting all the memes and stuff forwards from friends. Even I show her some of the stuff, they say. So like I said, initially it was a bit like, what's wrong? I mean, everything was completely normal and this is how it is. It's pretty normal that way. But then now she's like, it doesn't matter, I mean, people are gonna, like I said, people are gonna be saying all kinds of things, so it's completely fine.
But the best part about social media is that their attention span is this much.
Yes.
By the next day, there is a new crisis, there is a new thing to deal with,
New
and then
thing.
they move on.
Yeah.
So are you still working with the matchmaker? How was it working with Seema Auntie? Tell us a little about your interactions with her.
So I am currently not working with a matchmaker, so it's just pretty normal and how it's supposed to be. Also, like my parents also like, okay, so we keep getting biodatas and proposals from other matchmakers or relatives. You know how it goes that way.
Yeah.
And working with Seema was like I met her on the show. Then she introduced that I'm a professional matchmaker and things like that and all. Even she was a delight to work with. I mean, she was pretty chill, showing us all the thing. What are your requirements? Like you might have seen in the show,
Yeah.
because everyone has a criteria. People are saying, oh, how can you judge someone based on a criteria? But once you go to a matchmaker, or you go anywhere, you go to a doctor, he's going to be asking you, what are your criteria? So You go to a matchmaker, they're asking, oh, what are your criteria? What are you supposed to, what kind of girl do you want? And it's a very vague question to ask because you will answer the kind of things you want. But, no, specify, narrow down your search, that way. So it was like that.
That is true. That, I honestly didn't think about it because they make these biodatas and they're meant to be funny the way they're presented. But if you
Uh-huh.
just sat there and said, I want a girl, period, and said nothing else,
Exactly. I mean,
how?
it wouldn't happen. I say, everyone will be like, oh, I want a girl. I want a good girl. I want a girl to be smart. I want a girl to be, really supportive and helpful with me. These are very vague questions and, I mean, vague answers to the questions you're going to be asking. But if you put it down, you narrow it down and you refine it and filter it out. So it's crazy. I'm sure everyone else also might be having, some kind of criteria. It's just that on the show we said it and everyone saw it. I mean, people are not getting a chance to say anymore. But isn't it true? Like everyone else must be having some sort of criteria. Like they mentioned in the show that oh, I want a person who is tall or who is short or who is just average height or
Well, no,
who's fast.
I think we've established 5'3" or below. No.
I mean, it depends. It's not a complete no to. I mean, see, ultimately, if we match and everything goes well, that wouldn't really be a criteria because that is something very a normal, not normal. I would say it's a very minute thing to look at. Oh, just because the girl is not of a certain height, you're going to be rejecting her based on that criteria. But if the person is, what if the person is, see, nobody is perfect. Obviously, everyone has some kind of flaws. I too might be having some. So it just depends on how it is. These are just little things that you're looking at and what you're going through. And then, okay, the whole thing fits and one, two things doesn't happen. You will be compromising or you become flexible and then
I'm glad you brought that word up, not me, because it's become the word.
It was really funny also to see people's reaction on flexible. So that's the Indian English which comes in, when people say flexible, like people over here might be getting it too. Flexible meaning not that yoga flexible, and all kinds of stuff.
I think we
Because
got
I
that.
saw a lot of memes on that. It's kind of adaptable and how is it? I mean, your relationships too, you kind of compromise on certain things with your boyfriend or your husband. They do the same thing with you. And in fact, that is the most important thing to look at because if you don't, give and take and, don't compromise on something, how are you going to make it work? You just can't be rigid about, oh, this is all what I want because if this is what you want and you're very stubborn and rigid, then you might as well be with yourself. You've got to compromise in certain things. And
On
that's not only in relationships. It's about work. It's about everything in life in general, to be honest.
Honestly, I'm just trying to keep up with the comments. You're getting so much support in the comments. I don't know if you're seeing it. People are
Yeah, I
all
was
saying,
thinking it too.
people are
Yeah.
saying, like, you said things that everybody is thinking. Okay.
And that kind of made people uncomfortable to see the reality because in India, like people don't talk about certain things. It's a taboo subject or you don't say it that openly, but everyone does it. It's pretty normal. Just like look at a population of India when we reached 1.3 billion. How did that happen? Some of them are kind of doing some things, but
Yeah.
nobody ever talks about it. Literally, you will see, even if you talk about it, speak about it, it'll never happen that way. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but if you come to India and you talk to a normal person over here, localite, and talk about it's like, oh, don't talk such things, don't talk such. But it is happening. It's around you almost everywhere. And the fact that you're not talking is a problem because if you don't talk about it, what are you going to be doing with the solution to the problems? Because nothing is, what do you call? Nothing is correct. Everything, whatever you do, has some kind of little bit problems, or you can just, work on it and make it better. So this has opened up a lot of conversation, debates too, topics too, where we can filter out the bad things, may refine it, make it better, and work it.
What I found interesting in the show is that on the one hand, Aparna got a lot of
Uh-huh.
hate because she was too rigid.
Yeah.
But then if you were
I got a
saying,
lot of hate for
okay,
being too flexible.
for to be like, you couldn't win. I was like, okay, no one's gonna win in this, and then yet everybody is
Exactly.
a winner because the whole world knows you guys now.
Yeah, because I mean, these are two spectrums like totally opposite, totally apart. People are being like, you cannot be so rigid, you cannot be so flexible, you just can't go easygoing. Then you got to find a middle way out, and finding that middle way is not that easy how you say it. It's kind of very difficult. Like I said, you got to be specific, you got to narrow down, and you got to be in your criteria, exactly what you know. And this is life, it doesn't work out that way. I mean, you got to go along with things, and some things you got to be rigid about. Some things you can be like, okay, it's fine.
So, a question about the logistics of this. Does Seema auntie ask for details? Does she say, can you be more specific?
Of course. I mean, if you give a vague answer, she's going to be like, okay, but that's what everyone wants. But
Right.
let me know the details. I mean, it depends on how you answer also different people, because someone might be like, okay, this is exactly how I want. But then if I ask you, I ask anyone, everyone's going to give a vague answer at first. Be like I said, I want a good person. I want a good girl who's with me all the time, supportive of with me, and things like that. I mean, like, okay, that to everyone wants. Who doesn't
Right.
want, who wants a bad person? Nobody wants that way. And then she's like, okay, but specific down. Do you want a certain caste or color or religion? And then how it goes down. Do you
Yeah.
want only from your city? You want other city? There are multiple things. She'll also have a list of things.
So people are commenting in this chat, and I'm noticing also that you are so
Yeah.
open and chatty in real life.
Yeah, that I am. I mean, that's why I said, like, in the
But
show too, it was
on
so
the
edited
show,
out,
it feels like you were so like stressed out. Was it the
restricted.
effect of the cameras? Was it the effect of having a whole circus follow you through, like on a date, for example?
No, so like initially, how I started off initially, like the first few days, it was kind of very difficult because I was very nervous also initially, because I'm like, I'm not used to all these cameras following you around, you and me having a conversation, and behind there are 15 other guys, one person looking at you, one person doing this. So you'll be like, oh, you get a little conscious that way. After a few days, it became pretty normal that way. But then during the show, how they edited it out and stuff, also, some things we were told, we were given pointers and stuff like that to, kind of tone it down, kind of this. So they want to make it look in a certain way, make it look in that way. So that's how it happened. The whole projection of it came out to be like that. In reality, I don't think any of us are like that. Like, I have spoken to rest of the people also, and when I've spoken, they are a delight to be with. It's so fun with being with them, talking to them. Completely different person, like you said. So for me, when I saw my part too, I'm like, okay, if they edited out my part, they might have edited other people's part also. And I'm really sure they are not the person. And I can't really judge a person by looking at a 2 hour show. Gotta talk to them. So we started talking and chatting, and it was amazing.
Now, I think you guys are getting a lot of love for putting yourselves out there in real life, like unedited.
Yes, yes, definitely. Because it shows the real us. Now, nobody is telling us how to behave, or nobody is telling us how to be. Because, like, this kind of this candid interview, it's like the first time I'm speaking to you, and people like, oh, can you even talk? How am I going to have a conversation with, like, the messages I keep getting? And I'm just like, oh, dude, I mean, I'm having interviews with a person the first time, and I'm just going on and on and on because that's how I am in general life.
So somebody is asking, were there any parts of the show that were filmed that you wished had made it, that got edited out?
Oh, there was so many, so many. Each and every part, like even the kitchen scene was a totally long scene, but they just edited out some parts. The date which they showed, it was a long conversation and a long thing. They just edited out a few things. So that changes the narrative too. It
Yeah.
completely changes the whole narrative because they're only showing a certain section of it and saying, oh, the date went bad. Arre,
Hmm.
the whole thing was there. Later on, it might have gone good also. They don't show you the whole story. And obviously, they got to make a show. So it's not like they can show you 5 hours of dates. That's it, one episode done. They got to,
Yeah.
put it down. Like 10 minutes. Like my date went on for, I think, 6 hours. Literally. They showed you 10,
Wow.
15 minutes. And in that
It
also,
was
hello,
it
what's
was a
up?
6 hour long date.
I mean, yeah, it just kept on going back and forth. You know how it goes. So it became like that.
So somebody is asking, what originally drove you to be a part of this show? Like, what
So
was the
initially,
first motivator?
So when I heard about the show and the whole concept, and also the whole concept was to show the Western world how arranged marriages work. A lot of people have misconceptions in the West. They think arranged marriages is just like a guy and a girl meeting at the day of the wedding and boom, they get married. No, it doesn't work that way. The arranged marriage system is like the family supporting you because they would think the family picks a girl for you or a guy for you, and this is what you got to do. It doesn't work that way. And because I got so many messages from my friends when I was in abroad too, and they're like, "Oh, so you have a choice too. You can reject people. You can, say no to them. They ask you for your criteria and things like that." So this is like, okay, so this is a good show. It's going to portray the arranged marriage scene outside. So people are going to get more information, knowledge. It's going to spark a debate, and people are going to be talking about a lot of things that way. So that was one of it. And secondly, it was more like, okay, so I'm going to be on a show with my family too. So it's a good memory. Many people don't get a chance to do that. Like when I'm 60 years old and my parents are not there, or something like that goes, I can always look back and see the whole, live telecast of it, and it's really good. It's a good memory.
So somebody is asking, what are you looking for a girl in a particular caste, age range? What are your like top two, three that you're looking for? Like these are your real criteria.
Caste, age, or city, or whatever that color. I mean, none of that matters. It depends on the person is. And in a girl, if I would be looking, how it's supposed to be is more like a best friend who I can share my things with, be and not be embarrassed about it. The same thing with her too. Support her in whatever she wants to do. Support me in whatever I want to do. So it goes back and forth that way. At the end of the day, we both got to be happy, because if both of them are happy, the whole house is happy. The entire thing is it's a good vibe.
So that leads me to the next question. Are you stressed out at all about the dynamic between your mom, who comes across as a little bit of a strong personality, and then
Uh-huh.
also I think your sister-in-law and your brother are in the scene? Do you worry about that, or like this has just been like blown way out of proportion on the show?
Yeah, like you said, it's blown way out of proportion. My mom's not even that strict, there's nothing of that sort. I mean, they've always told me also, and they've told me now also, I mean, beta, if you want to have a love marriage, arranged marriage, anything is fine. You introduce us to the girl. If it's a love marriage, if it's arranged, obviously everyone will go and see and meet. As long as you are happy and you connect with the girl, and you know how you gel with the other person. Same thing is with my brother and bhabhi too. They also had a love marriage. My parents also had a love marriage. My brother and bhabhi got a kid also. It's not like a
Oh
deadline,
my God, that happened. We've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
wanting to ask
So
what
she was
happened.
pregnant in the show only itself. Na? After the shooting ended, a few months later, a little baby boy was born. They named him Ayansh, and so everything's. It's not like the show what you see. It's just that these are unfiltered part what you didn't see in the show. Maybe they didn't put it out there or something. I don't know how it was, but it's pretty normal. It's just the projection what people see on screen. They feel like, okay, so it has to be this way. It has to
Yeah.
go this way. It's nothing like that.
Well, first of all, congratulations for your nephew. Amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Because somehow it got tied into your storyline, everybody became interested what happened with the baby and
Yes.
the pregnancy. So this is great news.
Huh?
As you can, if you can follow the chat, a lot of my followers are moms, and we all love
Huh?
your mom. We,
Oh,
we
yeah.
all understand your mom. If she would
Thank
like to,
you.
if she would like to come by, say hello to people, we would love to
Yeah.
have her for 5 minutes or whatever she can give us. Um,
I've already told her, so she might be coming too. Because I told her last night only, and I spoke to her. She's like, "Yeah, I might drop by for a few minutes." And then she's not feeling well, and also like yesterday also we were doing, and she was like, "So I said it's okay, but you'll just let me know if you're coming up," and also
no,
it's
no
completely fine.
pressure at all. No pressure at all.
Yes, of course.
Already, I feel that the rest of the family members of the contributors are going through their own journey of being out in the public light.
Uh-huh, yeah, definitely, because it's different for so many people, and the amount of popularity or fame you can say has been getting is mostly 4 5 people. It's just me, my mother, Seema auntie, Aparna, and the whole kind of thing, which has been hard hitting on the internet. We
Yeah.
we like almost everywhere.
Well, you know what? It dies down. And in the end, this is the stuff that people will see and they will understand. I think part of the fascination, to be honest, is that we all watch reality TV, right? And now we
Yes,
all know that it's things are not always as they seem. So
oh,
even
definitely.
the reason people tune into things like this is because they want to see for themselves now.
They want to see the real thing, because the on-screen personality is different. The off-screen personality is completely different. Be it any kind of reality TV or a show, obviously fictional, because it's a genre which is tagged like, okay, this is fiction. So you go with that kind of mindset. But when you see reality TV, you go with that kind of mindset that, okay, it's real, everything is real, whatever is happening is real. It doesn't really work out that way. I mean, it's a producer, there's money involved, and a lot of things, how are people supposed to get their return. There's a lot of factors which people need to understand. But it's kind of okay. Can't really blame them. I mean, they're the viewers. They're not in the business. They are just there for entertainment and have a good time. And I'm sure when they saw the show, they did have a good time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know the entire world binge watched it. I think
Yes,
the
exactly. Yeah.
episodes dropped and people just kept playing until the whole thing was done. So, question: what is the status of your engagement, the Roka?
No, this the next day, like it was called off because in the night I was just going through a lot of things and I'm like, I can't really be with this person. Nothing wrong with the person at all. It's just that we don't connect, we don't vibe, we don't gel. How am I supposed to talk? How am I supposed to spend the rest of my life with this person? Initially I can't do. I mean, I'm going to be talking to a stranger or friends. People always say also, but ऐसा ही होता है. Later on, it becomes pretty normal. But it doesn't really happen that way because sometimes when I meet friends who are completely strangers, you know how you meet kind of other friends and we just boom get talking and get chatty and get stuff like that. That was not the case with this person. So
Yeah.
after that, I told my parents, and see, this is how it is. It's not necessary that with this kind of arrangement or this kind of thing that it happens later on. I also meet normal people. I also meet friends outside socially. Sometimes when I meet them, I'm just getting at it, and then how is that happening and how's not this happening? Maybe it's a different connect, because maybe we are not connecting. That's why that's the case. So I told them. They were pretty chilled about it at first. They were like, think over it and all. And I was just like, this is what I feel like. This is what I'm going to do. And then they were pretty okay. So then we, kind of told them no, and then broke it off, and then things that way and went off. So currently I'm single too.
Oh, single and looking, I hope. Are you still looking for love?
I am. I mean, who doesn't, man? Who is not looking for love? I mean, it's just going, but it's not on a specific way that I'm only focusing on love or some kind of. This is normal. I'm doing my work. I'm doing things. If someone comes across, oh, wonderful. If it doesn't happen, it'll eventually, just keep going on that way.
So, do you worry that your participation in this show will affect your chances a little bit? Like, so much of you is out there.
No, I really don't. It doesn't bother me much that people are gonna see, because if people are gonna be seeing me and judging me for 2 hours, then I am not the one at fault. They are at fault because they don't even know me. Without knowing a person, how can you be like, oh, I'm not gonna be with this guy? I mean, it's exactly fine for you. It's cool, but I mean, it's not gonna affect me. It doesn't change me anything because I know how I am, and so you gotta be confident and you gotta be like, you know who you are, you know your thing. And that's great. If someone comes along who really actually wants to get to know me, then let's make that work. But if someone's just gonna be looking at me and be like, oh, 2 hours, may like, oh, Akshay is like this, oh, he's like that, then Baba, I mean, like, you better either know me or don't know me. That's completely fine. I mean, it's their loss, not mine.
So, Shekhar is in the house. He's saying hello to us. Yeah,
How are
hi,
you?
Shekhar. Yeah. Your castmates are so cute because the behind the scenes friendship is like,
Yes.
because I've been lucky enough to connect with each one individually. It's been, even when I privately talk to them to confirm the bookings and all, everybody is
Uh-huh.
defending each other behind the scenes. They're like, no,
Yeah,
no,
because
talk to this guy. He's not like that. You need to talk to this
exactly.
guy.
Because how it happened, like I told you, on the 16th, the show release, we all saw the show. Everyone saw. Nobody knew what's there behind. We don't know what's gonna be in the show. I mean, we thought whatever we shot will be what do you call in the show. When we saw some parts edited out, they're projecting us in a very different way. Not only me, other contestants too, and other people too. How it's supposed to go out, and we never really spoke. So I never knew that there's Pradyuman, there's Aparna, there's Ankita. We never knew all these people that is gonna there. It's only when I saw the show and it happened like that. So we all started forming a group, started talking, started chatting. Hey, how it's like this and all. And we were like, to be honest, I'm not like this. Really, this was not the case. That was the same thing. I reply I get from him. Oh, even I wasn't like this. I was projected in a very different way. That got started the ball rolling, and then we started talking. And once how you interact and you start talking to the person, then you understand. Arey, the person like this is completely different than on screen and all that. Such a person, such a good person to be with. And I mean, what are they projecting on the show and what are people thinking? It's completely wrong in a way. So this kind of thing connected us a lot, and then now we know. And once you talk to a person, you get good vibes from them, and they're
Yeah.
really good. So wow, that's like amazing. Hey, at the end of the day, it's good to meet new people, make new friends, and have fun.
So, Pradyuman and you are both in Bombay.
Yes.
Have you guys met?
Not for now because of the lockdown and
Ah.
the COVID thing. So there's a lot of movement restrictions, but maybe we've chatted and we've spoken a few times. So maybe once it gets over, we can probably meet, you know.
So did you watch the show the way we did? Like you just binged in one shot when it came out?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I just binge watched the show when it came out. I didn't watch the first day because there was something work and all. But the next day on the 17th, I saw all of it. You know, I just saw the entire thing. I'm like, okay, I gotta sit and watch now.
And what did your friends and family think? Like people who really know you?
Oh, my friends and family, they were ecstatic. Like, oh my God, Akshay, you're on the show. And then you're like, my friends are like, dude, we totally know you. What were you doing there, man? You were completely different. You're not that kind of person, also. And they were really happy to see me also and supportive. And they're like, okay, so after seeing the show, they're like, we completely know you. You're not this kind of person, but good work. It was really fun to see. You're really happy and kind of feeling proud to that. Oh, I know this guy, and you know how it happened that way. In fact, they also started telling their other friends who I don't know because they asked him, "Oh, do you know Akshay? How do you know Akshay?" and stuff like. And my friends is like, "Dude, just meet him for 5 minutes. Your whole perception will change of him from the show." You know.
Completely. I mean, I'm sure your mom got calls from her friends.
Yes, she did. And all of them loved on the show also. She's like, oh, you're looking so graceful, so pretty. And this is pretty
Oh,
normal what you said because every mother thinks the best thing about their child, you know. So it just happens that way.
yeah. I mean, it was. I could imagine as a parent because her character in particular, the word flexible, the idea, the jewelry and the saris, like it felt so out of context because as an Indian woman, I've done all of that, right? Like we have bought things and said, I'm collecting this for my daughter-in-law.
Yes, everyone does that. Everyone starts preparing certain times. Not only Indians too. I mean, there are other people too who on the West also they might be having some sort of thing for their wedding or their child's wedding. You know, start saving up so I can spend so much on the wedding. Do this, do that, book things. It's just Indians do a bit extra because our
Yeah.
weddings are also very extravagant. So it just came off like that.
Yeah, I think your mom is inspiring. People are like, we're all starting tomorrow. Our kids are a little young, but we're getting there. No, but this is, it's fascinating to hear you speak. So, what are you doing now? I mean, aside from doing this, which is still, I know the show is still hot all over,
Yeah.
everybody wants to talk to you. But besides that, what are you doing now?
So I'm currently working too, like I was before. I'm just trying to balance between work and this. So I mean, work life is going on slowly by slowly because everything was shut. Now it started opening up, so there's a lot of hectic in that part area too. And then this suddenly thing came up, and I'm trying to juggle between this too. So it's just trying to balance life, you know. Sometimes I go out, meet friends, and we have a new topic to talk about now, and
Yeah.
everyone's just like, wow, you know, it just keeps going on that way. So I'm
Are
trying
they
to
are
balance
they
between.
all after your life to get them on the second season?
No, but they then not get them on a second, but just like, how did it happen? You know, how did it go? Is there a chance for a second one? Maybe I can be on it. They keep telling me that too. I'm just like, say, I really don't know. For the second season, it's up to Netflix and the producers, you know, that way. But definitely, if there is, I would recommend you. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. So you came to America for college. Did we hear that somewhere?
Yes,
Where,
I did.
where did you, what college do you want to talk about your experience in America,
Yeah,
your few years
so
that you
I
had here?
went. So I went there when I was 17. I was in University of Massachusetts in Boston, and it was a completely different experience. So I was there for like 4 years for my undergrad, and whoa, this was like something unreal. Like living in Bombay, it's so hot. Like even our winters are hot. You know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In Boston, came in January time. I came a odd semester. Wow, I'm seeing snow everywhere, and I wasn't prepared for that. I got blisters on my face the first time. I'm just like, whoa, what is going on? You know, I gotta get stuff in it, and it was completely insane. And it was such a long time too. 4 years living alone, and then just being with everyone, with your friends, with your the whole community that you form. Okay, most of the people are not even Indians, because there's a whole
Yeah.
diverse group. So the diversity was so amazing. Also learning about new cultures, new practices, new people, new friends. It was just amazing. After that, I went to London too for my masters. I was there for another 1.5 years. So totally, I was like away from like 5, 6 years from India. So it was an amazing experience out there.
So speaking of heat, a lot of people when we started this interview were commenting on why you're wearing a sweatshirt in Bombay.
I usually wear a sweatshirt and sleep, and since it's early morning, I wake up, get ready. I like wearing a sweatshirt because it's very comfy.
Yeah.
So
So tell us a little bit about your cousin. There's a cousin, you have a great relationship, it seems, with her. She seems to be your confidant, your sounding board.
Not really a confidant. I mean, that was just for the show. But yeah, she is my cousin. We do keep talking on and off, but not like how it was shown in the show. I have other friends who are just like very close to me, and they know more about my life than I think anyone else in my family also, because I've lived those experiences with them. I was abroad and all these places at home also. So it's been like that, and I mean, she's doing fine also.
Yeah, I mean, she seemed supportive actually of, whatever you wanted. Like, she was very,
Yeah.
in fact, if anything, I think after your first date, we were very surprised that you were like, yeah, this is it. Because
Uh-huh.
the little
Yeah.
snippet we saw looked a little uncomfortable. Like, it didn't look,
Yeah.
the most comfortable. So, what brought you to that moment? Did you feel a lot of pressure because it was being filmed?
Not really a lot of pressure, I would say. There's a lot of things going on in my head too, and parents also saying, and all kind of relatives also saying that, okay, so this is it. And when like 100 people tell you this is good, this is nice for you, and this is, you start to question also, you at least think once, that am I the one going wrong? Or,
Yeah.
are they, because everyone is saying it, so you kind of question yourself also. So it went like that, and I'm just like, okay, I mean, if people might be saying, you can make it work, like I always say, you should not quit, don't be a quitter. You gotta work and, just make it work and at least try. At least give it a try. At the end of the day, it doesn't work out. I can be like, at least I tried and it didn't work out. That's okay. I can't be like, oh, I didn't even go and try, and just before starting out, I'll be like, "Arey, khatam ho gaya," that's not me, I just at least give it a try. If you fail, it's fine, not a problem also with that. But at least you give it your best and you go for it.
Actually, Aparna commented on your part of the show in her interview, and she said
Uh-huh.
that she really applauded you for being firm and just saying, like, I don't care about your timeline and your this and your that. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Because
Because
from the
everyone's timeline is
outside, it
different.
looked like you had a lot of pressure on you. It may or may not be true, but it looked like that.
Yeah. So
And
it wasn't like that. Like obviously, like I said, it was very edited. So it kind of looked like that there was so much pressure on me and all. But then ultimately, see, it's my life. I'm gonna be living with the person for the rest of my life. My family is gonna be starting out. We have to live our life together. So there's nothing of sort, and everyone's timeline is different. It's not like, see, somebody gets what do you call, married early, somebody gets married late. They all find their happiness at the end. Nobody is the same. Everything happens differently. Not only about love, it can be anything. Somebody makes money later on, somebody makes money some really early, somebody becomes famous very late on. Somebody, so everyone's timeline is very, very different. If the stars are aligned, it'll work out.
every time she said that, I was like, okay, so then why is everybody paying you a lot of money?
If it all on the timeline and the stars, exactly like you said, why is everyone paying?
You know what I mean? Like, she kept saying
Yes.
every time it didn't work out, well, the stars are not aligned. What?
That's
From
also a good way. That's also a good way to, give an excuse where nobody's gonna question you, because in India people do that a lot. If something doesn't work out, be like, oh, maybe it was not meant to be. Maybe it was the gods didn't mean it to happen. That's the Hindu kind of thinking. You know how people think that way,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
whatever
of
happens happens
course.
for the great. So I guess that also started going a lot in the show.
So I'm being asked, are you interested in meeting any of the women on the show? There's Ankita in Delhi, there's Nadia, there's Aparna, and there were others also who went on dates with the guys.
I would like to meet all of them. Literally just all of them. Because when I spoke to them, they are such amazing individuals.
Yeah.
Just chatting is different. Meeting in person is gonna be amazing time. Not necessarily it's gonna be like a date or something like that, but we can just hang out, meet, be good friends. There's nothing wrong. So but I would want to meet almost each and every one.
I mean, Ankita from Delhi created such a splash because she's a female boss, like she's an
Yes.
entrepreneur. And in the end, she had like a similar attitude to yours. She's like, it's not meant to be. I'm not going to force this, even though she went to the life coach and, this whole
Everything.
rabbit hole journey that they put her through.
So everyone's fighting in their own journey to get kind of way, maybe it be love or struggling, how it says, in any part of their life. She also probably did that too. I also probably did that too. She tried her best. like I said, you have to give it a try. Went
Yeah.
to a life coach, went this, she did each and everything possible. But ultimately, if she doesn't feel right and it's not gonna happen, then it's her life. Completely honest with that decision, completely agree with her, stand by her, support her. That okay, she knows what she wants, and if she's not feeling good, then who are we to say? She's amazing that way. She has to be happy. And if she's not, it's completely fine.
I think part of the reason I'm realizing as I'm talking to you, part of the reason this show is resonating so much worldwide is that I think people are finally seeing what goes on in the West, also in the East in some way. That at the end of
Uh-huh.
the day, when the match didn't work out, you're saying the same thing people here say at the end of a date.
It's just different ways. It's like all roads lead to one. They all have the same goal at the end, whether it be west or east. Everyone wants to find love and be happy. Different people choose different paths. Some people choose a matchmaker, some people get love, some people swipe right on Tinder, some it just happens that way. So there are multiple ways to reach the goal, but ultimately it's the same. And the basic thing from behind the, how do I say, the concept is the same, for everyone.
Right. Now, the lady with whom you had the roka, was she, when things didn't work out, she understood. I mean, she's also in the public eye a little bit.
Yes. So
And
initially, she was just like a bit hesitant, why, what happened, stuff like that. And when I try to
yeah,
explain to her, and she's like, okay, I also kind of feel that way. Because she's like, I have other friends who got married, and the way they talk, we don't talk that way. And it's a completely different thing. So I kind of get you. Even I was having second doubts and stuff like that, but the same things like I don't know how to say, because it's a very big decision also, how will I say, how will it happen? So then after she understood, like, okay, you know what, mutually, it's just better to call it off because it's much easier that way.
now I'm going to ask you a question and you can feel free to not answer it because my
Oh, yeah.
job is never to make my guests uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But people are very curious if she gave the jewelry back.
Oh, obviously. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know how Indian weddings happen, right? So once that thing happens, it's for the ritual.
Yeah.
After ritual, everything is done. Once the person gets married and is in the home and a few years go by or something, then it passes on from generation to generation. So, I mean, it's a ritual which happens, and then in ritual, you got to keep some things and place some things.
But so she did give it back to you since the roka was called off.
Yes, yes. I mean, and not even after the ceremony got over, it was all done.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
that
such a
way.
small thing, but you see, all the moms on
Yeah,
my chat group are like, "Where's the jewelry?"
yeah. No, I mean, like I said, for rituals, you know how you keep things and keep certain
Yeah,
things, and then after it gets over, like, okay, this is what's going to happen. It's a Indian tradition, I would say, or a custom. Obviously, people
yeah,
don't know that abroad, but it's pretty normal over here. I mean, the people who might be seeing it and follow the Indian tradition, it just goes on that way.
absolutely. So, what have you learned from the show? Like, what are your big takeaways after being in the public eye overnight like this?
So from the show and then the public, I'll answer it in two parts because
Yeah,
there's like two sides of different questions. So being on the show and all, I learned, see, everyone at the end of the day just wants the best for you. They are just helping you out, be it your parents, your friends, your family also. Everyone's giving different suggestions. Some might say this is good for you. Some might say this is bad for you. You got to listen to everyone. Take the good parts, but do what you feel like at the end of the day, because ultimately it's your life. It's not their life. Someone's going to be telling you all kinds of stuff might be good for you, might be bad for you. They might be thinking in a good way also. They might be not thinking that it's that okay, let's put him in a hole and let's put him that way. They're also coming from a good place that it's supposed to happen that way. But then ultimately, what you got to do, what you feel right. Your decision can be good, can be bad also. You don't know anything can happen that way. And secondly, the question you say about like when it came in the public eye, I was just like, why are people saying so much things at first,
yeah, yeah,
And then initially I was just like, okay, it's fine. I mean, because I put my life out there, people are going to give views and opinions. That is completely okay. And then I was just like, it's okay. I mean, like I said before, also people are just telling me things on looking at a 2 hour footage of me.
yeah.
If you meet me and then or just not even meet me, just know more about me as a person, things, and then people said, so that stopped bothering me also in a few days also because I was just like, okay, I'm thinking of a thought that someone has commented. They're just sitting somewhere and writing and looking at me for 2 hours. Him telling me is not going to change my life or his life or her life also. It's not going to change anything. So why am I taking stress, for all these things? It's hilarious now. I just laugh at the comments when I see. I'm like, oh my god, such creativity. People are writing.
No, people, I mean, I hope you are able to watch a little bit of the chat. Like,
Yes, yes, I am.
everybody
Yeah.
is talking about like how much they wish they had seen this on the show.
Yes.
Your chattiness, the honesty, the candor, because it's edit. In the show, you look really like awkward, like you were having a hard time releasing
Being on the
because
show. Yeah.
just being able to talk. And I can understand that. If you had 10 cameras around you, I totally get that.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, initially it was like that, but then as the show went, they had certain criteria on the show too. Everyone cannot be the same. Everyone has to be diverse. There's a certain kind of relationship they want to show, a mother-son relationship, a strong woman, or things like that. There has to be diversity in the show too. They're creating, like I said, creating a show at the end of the day. There's money involved, there are things like that. People want to make sure, right, the things go back perfectly and smoothly. You cannot just leave it to chance or leave it to random people that how it's supposed to happen. There were a lot of pointers and stuffs given to us also, like the BP scene also. That was never this. It's not even true. It's not even in real life. Obviously, at home, everyone might be having a BP machine. My dad has diabetes. He has a diabetic machine, to check his sugar and stuff like that. So how it played out also was like my mom just came in the morning from a regular checkup, from the hospital. And they're sitting with the cast and crew because they set up things, it takes time to set up things
Yeah.
also. They were just chatting, how everything was good, how was the visit to the hospital and the regular checkup, what did they do? So my mom was also like a normal thing. They take the blood test, they take temperature, they took my blood pressure to write down all things. They say, oh, blood pressure. Like, oh, do you have that? Because they cannot do a blood test in the the scene, or they cannot just check the temperature because that's not going to make an impact. Oh, so do you have a blood pressure machine? We're like, yeah, at home, almost everyone has it. Like, okay, this will be really good if we put it in the show. It's kind of going to make funny because the kitchen thing was supposed to be funny. The kitchen thing was my mom is just teasing me. That also people took it in a very wrong way. That mom is teasing me that, oh, your future wife is gonna pack tiffin and all for you. Obviously, I don't want a wife who's gonna be doing all this. You saw the show, there were other people helping my mom too and doing things too. They do that all the time. So why would I want to waste such talent of my future partner to do these kind of things? Probably can help in other kind of stuff or use the talent to do something else. So it went on that way. Me also, as a person or anyone else, I'm not hanging out in the kitchen like that, just sitting on the
Yeah.
countertop and just be like, okay, what is going on? That doesn't happen. I don't know how many people do that, but I
But
really don't do that.
that was actually endearing to us mothers. Like there,
Mhm.
several questions have come through about like the closeness also that they've shown between your family. Like if you look
Uh-huh.
at it in a positive way, the fact that you're discussing all this with your mom,
Right,
your
it's different to hi,
sister,
Claudia.
all your friends, like your sister-in-law is there participating. Like if you remove the negativity from it, it's a close family, and that's a good thing.
Yes, I mean every family is close. Everyone has ups and downs in their family. There's a certain special kind of relationship which you have with your parents or with your brothers and sisters and a lot of people. I mean, I got so many messages also, and it was very touching to me because so many people message me like, so since a childhood they lost their mother or their parent, and they're like, we never had that kind of relationship. And when we saw you with your mother, the kind of relationship you had,
Yeah.
we want that. We would love to have that, and we never had a chance to do that, obviously. And just seeing that, it touched me so much, and it just made me happy to see that way that if I was in, you're very lucky to have that kind of thing. That it touched me a lot when people said that those kind of things, and I completely understand too. And I mean, having a relationship with your parents and stuff, your siblings, it's not even that, even your friends and all. It is such a good thing. I mean, what's wrong? Why spread love? Not hate.
And I think in the end, you guys have with this show. In the end, in
Yes.
its own way, people have questioned what they're looking for, gotten to know themselves a little better because all the debates that have happened, you know, people
I
have
totally understand that. Yeah.
people have fallen in love with some characters, hated other characters. All that has
Characters.
led to like self evaluation a little bit too.
So the show has made people question a lot. Like I said, it sparked a lot of debate too. I know so many people who have seen the show once, triggered them. seen the show second time, be like, okay, let me think about it. Third time, now I understand why you're saying such things and why
Right.
you're saying, because the first time when you watch the show, you're just like, oh my God, what is things happening? Just like the flexible thing, people are saying yoga. I mean, but there's a certain thought behind it, what people are saying, it's not a very direct approach. It's like you read in between the lines, you just don't read the lines. So when people started watching it all over again and they started making questions and thinking themselves, kind of made sense to everyone, I guess.
So, I mean, listen, being flexible physically is not a bad thing, just to be clear.
It's very good. Yeah, it's amazing to be that way because it makes you fit. Your body is good, and why not? You should be able to do that. Not everyone can do that too. That's a skill also.
Yeah. So, what is your family business? You want to talk a little bit about your background because there have been little hints at it. So, maybe we would love to learn more.
I mean, I don't know about other people what they're thinking or what kind of theories they're saying. And also, we are into automobiles, we are into construction, we are into finance and manufacturing. So they're like different multiple industries. So it's spread across the state and things like that also. I mean, I don't want to get into details because there's a lot I've been saying. It's kind of hectic to, handle also and the stuff like that. But that's how happened. And I feel very proud also because my dad was a first generation entrepreneur. So he started all this and doing this. For me, it's so overwhelming just to, just take it from there and even grow it even further. It's a very big base, very big responsibility also. Many people I know, they're like, oh, you're just a rich brat or you're just this. I mean, but it's not like that. It's not like that for anyone, I say. But it just happens that way. And I feel very lucky and proud also to have this thing and to take it forward and make it even more. So it just goes on that way.
No, definitely. I mean, you feel that like in the family because your dad also makes little appearances.
Yes.
And even though your mom gets all the attention, I mean, you know
Yeah.
that.
We were surprised too to watch it. My mom was surprised. "Man, this show is about you and then your matchmaking, but I am getting so much footage. Why are they edited out and put things like that of me and all? Maybe it's the strong character what they told my mother to play and things like that and all. She also comes off as a strong, independent woman, which is what people say, right? Like, women should be strong and independent, but then they take it negatively, like you said.
You can't please everybody. If you're
Oh,
too
yeah, you can't
strong,
please
people don't.
everyone. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think the thing that caught everybody's attention was that somehow there was a connect the dots going on between you getting married and the brother's wife getting pregnant. The
Yeah,
timing
no,
of
that
it.
Yeah, that was again, like I said, pointers what they gave us, to make it sound funny and make it look like that, and a deadline too. I mean, there's no certain deadline that okay, by this is not an exam paper or a project, an assignment that you're submitting. By the end of December, I want you to submit this assignment. By end of December, you need to get married, whether it be whoever it wants. This is life; it doesn't work out that way. So it was pointers to people catch that punchline. People did catch it.
So what were the big pointers that the producers gave you? Like what were they looking for when they were creating this show? And do you think that
So
they've been successful in doing what they set out to do?
So they've been successful in the whole concept of showing how the arranged marriage system works, the process works to the West, because
Mm.
somehow some families, like it might be a mix of all the families in one family only, or mix of certain characters in this, but they try to show a diverse thing. Our traditional families, there, mother-son relationship, independent woman, person, just doesn't know someone who's got divorced, what is his life going on, stuff like that, which is completely fine also because they wanted to show other thing. That's what they did. Pointers and stuff they gave us to make it look like a family show, be it
Mm.
funny, make some kind of content in it, so at least people are engaged to it. It
Yeah.
wasn't meant out to be like people catching on it and hating on it like they did because nobody ever thought that while filming and nobody ever thinks that also. Everyone wants to make a good show and have people love it, the way it went. So that's how the thing, the pointers and all, there were a lot of them which they gave us, punchlines and all. They just said do it in your way because it's not like we cannot tell you how to walk, how to just do the movement and speak in a certain style because at the end of the day it's semi-reality, so you've got to be that way. But the content should be there, otherwise life is boring then, because if you show, I mean, I'm sure if you show some real actors life too, when they see like, life is pretty boring. But if you give him some stuff, give some masala or give some content, people are going to be engaging in that show and they know, professionals they are. So they know what will resonate with the audience or, what will make people think, what will be a punchline that will blast. You're a comedian too. When you write your stuff, this is the punchline where I'm expecting a laugh.
Yeah.
And when it happens, you feel really happy that it happened. And it doesn't work out, then you'll be like, okay, it didn't work out. It did happen. So there were many things which we thought also would be funny, which people didn't catch it. Many things which we thought didn't think people caught on it, and just made it funny or made it a debate, a topic of debate.
That's kind of true to life. You can't predict people's
Yeah.
reactions beyond a certain point. But
Good
I
point. Yeah.
think if there is a season 2 to happen, if and I'm pretty sure it will because of the
Uh,
popularity, what will happen is that the next set of contributors will be wise to the game a little bit.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, it always happens. The first time is, the first time is very pure and everything. First time, anything you do
Yeah,
will be the most memorable experience you will remember. Then
yeah,
the second thing happens, you learn from the first one what to do, or you see, okay, this guy did this the first time. Let me add on to it, and how can I make it better or make it more amusing? That way. So the second set of contributors, same thing is gonna go on. Even the directors, the producers, and Netflix might be knowing, okay, so what worked, what did not work. Let's try to put that in a certain way. What gave a lot of hate, we don't want that. Let's try to delete those things. So you build up on that. Maybe say season three goes on, and build on that. Season
yeah.
four, like keep going.
So we actually got a question about that a few questions ago. Have you spoken to the producers of the show since it aired?
Of course, of course. The very next day. Because it was such a blast everywhere. Next day, overnight, there were all memes around me. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I think the show is doing really good because if there's a meme coming out of the show, almost, everyone has watched it or it's become really crazy. And they said also it has been a massive success, the show. Everyone has binge watched, like you said. And it's pretty amazing. They said, okay, so, you feel good because
Yeah.
they've given hard work, dedication, time for so long, and at the end of the day, once you see the result and people getting that much viewership and that audience and people commenting on your work, just it can be good or bad, but they've seen it. At the end of the day, they've seen the show. They might be saying good things, bad things. Everyone seems they're really happy, that way, that okay, our hard work has paid off.
Yeah.
So they were really happy about that too. You get that sense of fulfillment, that okay, so I didn't work for anything for so long. It happened so good and beautifully, and people started watching it a lot. So much appreciation, so much hate, or whatever it might be. But almost everyone has seen it, and it's really amazing to watch that. So yeah, I spoke to them. Then I spoke also what's next and what's going on. Like currently, even we don't have an idea because it's so recent and so new. The show has come out that we can't really say. But like we'll update you, how it goes. But just enjoy what is going on right now.
I mean, would you consider being on another matchmaking show, something Indian, something? I mean, now the whole of India knows you very well, or what they
Yeah,
think of you. I can only imagine all the interest you're going to generate with the media there.
yeah.
And your
So
mom,
definitely.
your mom might get her own show. I think.
A lot of people have been saying that. A lot of people have been saying that, keeping up with Preeti Auntie.
Yeah,
So getting that kind of show and all. Let's see how the opportunities come. If it's a good thing and if it's really nice and it hits me that okay, it's a good thing I want to take part. Why not? Why not go for it? It can be a dating show, reality show, any kind of show, fictional, non-fictional. Just go with the flow how it comes across because I really don't know what's gonna be happening.
so, what was your favorite storyline in all the shows? Like, which storyline was there a couple that you were rooting for?
I really felt bad when Nadia's whole storyline went on, and how the guy stood up and all. When I watched it, but
Yeah,
when I spoke, when it came off, I was just like, okay, now I know the real thing. That's
yeah,
okay. But as a viewer, when I saw it, it was just like she's an amazing individual. Even on the show, it was portrayed really nice and stuff like that for her. So like it's really good for her. Also. But then ultimately, how it played out, it became very this. Even what do you call Aparna storyline was really amazing to watch it and all. It was very proper, very nice. Nothing. The people gave her a lot of hate on a mother for calling the person,
yeah.
but as a parent, I mean, you want the best for your kid, and if someone tries to do something like that to your kid, you would stand up for him. You will do anything in the world for your kid. People just like, oh, how can she say such a thing? Who wouldn't if someone does that to you or your wife or your daughter or your son or your father, anyone? Wouldn't you like be aggressive or take a stand? And not saying she was aggressive, she was just right in her own way to say and look out for her child.
but people, we use words like that in real life. I mean, people are pretending that we
Exactly.
don't.
And those were good words to use. People would just beep, beep, beep.
Yeah. So we're about to get kicked off of Instagram. We have 20 seconds remaining. Would you like to say something to our viewers? I at least want to thank you really quickly for giving us your
Oh,
time.
thank you for having me on the show and letting people know also how I'm and all. And to viewers, like none of the cast members are literally of the show. We are completely different individuals. I mean, the more you watch us, the more you engage with us, you will come to know more and more, and you'll really enjoy it that way.